We need to bring today's session to a close. Last night we started with a spiritual and opening session. Today was the international session where we learned from all our global experts and from the experience from the countries that have come. And I think we can all agree that SEZs can be developed and they can be a major source of employment, revenue generation, and they can transform countries and economies. Just because we failed, it doesn't mean it can't be done. It can be done. That's the first conclusion we can get from all the presentations. And I don't know about you, but I've been really inspired by everything I've heard today. And I think, for me, the presentations have brought my passion level to the next level already. I know we can do it. I'm sure of that. I believe we can do it. Couple of key themes that came through from all the presentations. Number one, there was this big talk about ease of doing business in SEZs. One-stop shop. They don't want to go to too many organizations. We are competing with the rest of the world to bring investors. Our system, processes must be simple and very friendly to investors. That was very, very clear from the presentations. Second thing that came very clearly was, SEZ is not something you drive politically. It must be demand-led. There must be a demand for the goods and services. There must be an investor who's willing to come. You create the environment, provide the enablers, and the investor comes. The study must be done first, not later. You must determine that it's viable. You have a business case, then you start talking about investment and planning and putting in a sequence of steps what you must do from A to Z to get that SEZ to work. Clearly, SEZ can be mainly driven by the private sector, but in our context, district, now provinces, you have to be the major driver of this. Is that okay? The districts who haven't come here are provinces, and you think somebody will do it for you, you have to drive it yourself. If you want development, you want employment in your provinces and your districts. Somebody has to drive the agenda, and the ownership must rest with the leaders. Autonomous region of Bougainville, Yublakam, classic example. Somebody has to envision what you're going to do in your province. Where is the best opportunity for a SEZ? So we hope as you've listened to all the presentations, each of the districts, provinces you become, you are starting to think, what is best for my province, what is most viable, what must we work on? Now become a question from my brother from Gulf and Kikori. I know EU SEZ will be doing their presentation tonight. And you are saying, how should it be funded? You have more opportunities than the rest of the country. You aren't good. You've got an LNG project coming. You're going to get infrastructure development grants from the state. You're going to go to negotiations now through a development forum. Why can't you get your wharf and airport and roads built as part of this negotiation? You're waiting for some organization. Are you waiting for some free gifts? You've got the greatest opportunity. PNG LNG delivered roads. It delivered the Komoy International Airport. Every year they're getting development grants from the national government. Gulf, you are sitting on a pot of gold. You should be the last person asking the question. The developers should be paying for all of this as part of the deal. Guess to you here, you will follow what is happening. So, please, districts, when you are here, Haram good. SEZ authority. The message is clear. We need a competent SEZ authority that knows what it's doing. So we are going to work on that. I want to show all our delegates today. We must work on putting the right management in place, right board in place, board composition in place, and we must get this organization to make it work. Everybody must apply online. We must have one-stop shop. And part of the people of government is that local. Because if we fail our part, it's going to make it very hard to attract investors. The other part, people of provinces and governments. If you don't have land and state titles, you ain't going to move nowhere. Central province, you aren't good. If you don't take back Manu for rice development, why you make one? Ground by Sabit Lohan, but defense, na lying idle. State is paid for the land. You not taking ownership. That's the point. Each district and governors, you have to rise up and take ownership for the development of your own province. We're going to look at the issue of application in the policy tomorrow. Usai by apply lo SEZ license. Is it the provincial government? Is it the LNG? Only private sector? Usai by apply. Tomorrow in those working on the policy, you better get that section of the policy done so that tomorrow we are going to find out who applies for the license. How long should the license application process take? Is there a provisional license and then a full license, and what are the conditions? Tomorrow you will learn all about that. That we will do tomorrow. As I said through all the presentations, it's become clear. Most countries, the government does not play a role in SEZ development as an investor. It creates the enabling environment, provides the ground rules, legislative framework, and allows the private sector to play the major role. And that's how SEZ was developed in most countries and done very well. So the message is, each district and province you think in local SEZ, you have to think about how do you attract private sector to come in and invest in your district or your province. How can the national government help you? How can your provincial government help you? How can your DDA help you? So you position yourself to be able to attract investors from the private sector to come into your province or your district. We are here to help you. We'll facilitate. We can bring the investor, but you have to create an environment. Now suppose you know what road going to place for you, you should be sitting close to planning if you have the potential. And the national government to talk about making sure you are featuring in the budget. You have to talk to works, connect PNG na talk. Maskino put in road going to halfway no the economic value. Put it to my district because I got heaps of land here for development. So this is the kind of conversation we need to have. Tomorrow when the Deputy Prime Minister comes, and is confirmed is coming, we are going to talk about how do we unlock customary land, give state titles to our people, and let them free up land for development. That will be a very big discussion tomorrow. So what I'm saying is at the end of the summit, we have to be clear what is the role of government. What is the role of districts, which I'd like in SEZ development? What is the role of provinces? Who said by apply? Who should take ownership and champion the cause in your respective district and in your respective provinces? I can tell you, if the districts don't move, provinces don't move, we are going to focus on those who are interested to develop, from my level. It's very clear. So provinces, sit down and learn as much as you can, take him ownership, and governors especially, and members of parliament, you need to take leadership. You need to step up and drive the agenda of development in our respective districts and provinces. Together we'll build a nation. So this is very, very important. I want to finally come back to the chairman of fisheries. Right now the government makes about 500 million. It collects in rents from the fishing company. We are a rent collector. Chairman, you are good. We are a rent collector. We don't own the industry. We don't even fish in our own waters. because we don't have a domestication policy. We've allowed fishing companies to come to our country. Also, you mean to start finding fish? Our ancestors have never fished in our own waters. We allow other people to come and fish. That's number one. We don't even have an expert PNG fishermen in our country. They come and fish. They own all the boats. They fish. Then they decide, do I take it to a catering lane or do I ship it back to my own country of origin? We have no control over the resource. You don't own the ship, they ship it all back. Why? Because it's cheaper to process the fish and get it to market in their own country than they can do it in this country. PNG Power, Telecom, PNG Water. If you don't help us to reduce the cost of doing business, as you've heard from all the speakers, this idea might not work. People will still take all our raw materials out because our cost of doing business is too high. These are serious issues that we must deal with. We can't afford to pay the rates that we are paying PNG Power for right now. They are among the highest tariff levels in the world. We have to bring the cost of doing business down. So if it means that Kumul Petroleum, you're going to come with an agenda to bring in green energy and cheaper power, we must go with you just to bring the cost of energy down and make it reliable. We can't have continuous blackouts anymore in this country. We must support investors to invest in hydro power and in green energy. And we are looking for partners because we've got to make our SEZs work. So, enough now of all our fish being taken out 90%. Bring the domestication policy. Let's start fishing ourselves. Let's start owning the boats ourselves. So we control the fish. Right now, yeah, you don't control the fish. Fish play, all comes in. Because they fish, not you. And they have made sure that they have never trained any of us to fish. I missed our question. Just like gold. We give them the permitted, they own the gold, not us. We have to buy to get back to owning, to be part of the business. So I'm really hoping that this summit, by changing some of the mindset, we can't be spectators anymore. We must take ownership of our resource. We must process it in this country and use SEZ to make it happen for us. So I think the easiest one for me is fishing in one plan. All we have to do is bring the policy, start investing and owning some of the fishing companies ourselves, putting our young people who are looking for jobs, putting them on a ship and all over finding fish. Then they bring it to our own processing plants in a day. It's simple. You know why I'm saying simple, Chairman? Because Solomon is doing this that 5-6 years ago now, you missed sleep yet. Recently I went to the Solomons. I couldn't believe all the boats coming in. And all the crew are Solomon Islanders fishing in their own waters. Now PNG, you may found in stuff. Same blow you me. We should be all ashamed of ourselves. Me not talk like you, even as leaders, we've allowed this. Rice, the easiest one. Tomorrow we'll hear from Rigo Rice. Central should be the rice capital of this country. Governor, you should not be Harima. I want you to get your government sorted out now. Let's move the agenda of rice. Tomorrow I want to see all these companies bringing rice in and processing it in PNG. Why I want them to pack up and leave tomorrow. When Central Province produces all the rice, find 100,000 hectares and let's plant enough, 400,000 metric tons, and we'll no longer go right down and how people can afford it. Do you realize, a couple of years ago, rice was 2 kilo a kilo. Now it's how much? Huh? 7-8 kilo. You might afford it, but what about our grassroots in the village who are now living on rice? It's a crime against our own people, and that needs to stop. So we will support any SEZ that wants to rise. You will get my 110% support. Any province. SEZs have shown all over the world in all the presentations, incentive. You don't give the incentive, investor doesn't come. Yes, you can complain, let me give you more incentive, but if they don't come, you don't even get tax income, you don't even get GST, you get nothing. You have to give to get because the rest of the world is giving. We have to be competitive. Because factors like cost of doing business is high low here, so we have to be competitive. So, what I'm trying to say is, SEZs are working all over the world. We have to learn from best practice, bring it back to our country. Yes, we have our own context. We must look now applying. But the big lesson I got out of today was what the Philippines said, red carpet. They put red carpet for investors, both local and international. We don't give them red carpet and straight down. We make it very hard. Every department is fighting for their little theft. But I'll talk to the department, they take their time. Visa will take for months. That's how we have been treating investors here. Rest of the world on top of them. Lomé, in my mind, they're one of the leaders in the Philippines now. Even at 12 o'clock at night, you can ring the CEO of the Asian authority. He's going to save you if you're an investor. That's the benchmark. That's what PNG needs to get to. If we want to be good at this, we must operate to the world's best standard. And this is what this journey is about. It'll take a bit of time, but we are going to get there. I want to assure all of you. Finally, I have been to many forums in this country. This is one where I saw people packed in morning and they are still here. Thank you very much. On behalf of my government, the Marape government and the Prime Minister and all of us, the department and the SEZA team, I've never seen such attendance in the time I've been minister now. This is my third term. I'm very proud of all of you. I know you've come here with a passion, you want to do something for your country, you want to transform your country. Let's do it. Thank you now. Good afternoon.